Hello and welcome back to our Songs of Syx World Conquest series. You might have already forgotten about this. It has been a moment since the last upload. I think it was the end of November, so almost 4 months now. I have to admit, I went a bit carelessly into all of this. I thought, okay, let's just set the goal of conquering the world. How hard can it really be? Turns out it isn't that hard, it just takes a long time. So at the end of episode 10 of the series, I decided that I will record the rest of my world conquest and then cut it down into one episode. So in the end, I had around 20 hours of footage and that broke me. Just wading through all of that and picking out pieces of those 20 hours, I was in way over my head. So I'm now finally finished, and in this video I will show you how I did it. So I will not immediately jump into a new series of Songs of Syx. I think I'll probably wait until 1.0. I'll do some smaller things in between, some more variety. Just because I think I burned myself out a bit on this project. But I hope you get some enjoyment out of it. This video is very awkward in terms of how I choose to represent this playthrough. I know that a lot of you won't be happy with it, but I'm sorry about that. I didn't really see a better way to get those 20 hours down to one sizable chunk, and I didn't want to make it a 2-hour video because I would have to talk for 2 hours, which is also not something I wanted to do. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. So we start off where we left at episode 10. As you can see on our world map, the red chunk is us. We own around 20% of all regions on the world map, so still quite a lot left to do. And once I set out, I wanted to continue just as I did in the 10-hour playthrough before. I had my army of Arganosh going around, being basically undefeatable. I had an army of mercenaries conquering, so I thought to myself, let's just keep doing what we did the last 10 episodes and we're fine. And that's the basic setup of this whole world conquest. As it turned out, that just takes a very long time, because those 10 episodes I recorded before, they were about, I would say, 25 to 30 hours of footage, and I conquered 20%, and I quickly realized it doesn't get much faster than that if I do it by the books and run around with an army and fight everyone and conquer it. So I adjusted my strategy and I thought to myself, okay, how about we just get very, very rich and then we just buy everything, and in parallel our armies start marching around and we conquer a bit. And this playthrough is, this video will show you that armies are not everything in Songs of Syx. Actually, Songs of Syx hits pretty close to home as it is in real life, in that armies are not everything, money is, on the other hand. So I just bought a few regions. You'll see very shortly that we made progress on 3 fronts. In the north we captured a region. In the middle, I would call it, we bought 3 regions, and on the right side we also conquered 1 region. And then I decided to start finishing up the north, just so we don't sit in this world view all the time, which will be a lot of this episode, I'm sorry. I thought that the conquest of the northern regions I will show you in a time-lapse. Battles in Songs of Syx are kind of funny, as they resemble a lot what happened in ancient times, which means there's 1 or 2 decisive battles in a war, and the rest is just going around with the army, pillaging, conquering, besieging, And that's what I'm going to show you here. So we declare war on coinings, I think they were called, and my army immediately moves out, and we start besieging stuff with our army of mercenary bugs. I get as many mercenaries as is possible, and I start to conquer some of the undefended regions, which have canter havens, and my intention was to deny them their canters, which didn't work out too well, and we have to fight some raiders in between. I cut out most of the raider fights. This is an example of how they look. We run in, we win. And here we besiege their main capital. Their army is chasing us, and their army is quite fearsome. 100,000 strength, 3,000 soldiers. So we give them attrition through garrisons. I built barracks and fortifications in every town, so when they besiege a town, they lose a few soldiers until they are weakened enough. And now we can fight them. Our 2,200 against their 2,200. And as you can see, I'm just putting my archers in the back, everyone else in the front. The only problem we have is that they have a lot of catapults, so my basic strategy is to run around them with a few units just near the catapults, as you can see right here, which makes the catapult crews run away, which means they cannot shoot at us anymore. And with their catapults disabled, my people have much better chances. Most of their soldiers are untrained, so they break immediately upon contact. That's one of the big pluses of mercenaries. They come with a bit of experience. Most of the time they come with a bit of training and experience, which is pretty great. So even though this is one of the largest battles I have fought up to date, we don't have any problems. There was one unit of canters which was very dangerous. When they come up again, I will show you the blue blobs in the middle fighting our canters. Yeah, and it's mostly chasing down the units running away. Yeah, that's fighting the canters. But even though they have stone giants, in the long run, they don't stand a chance. So sooner or later, all the canters are dead. And that's victory. And with this decisive battle, the war in the north is almost as good as over. We get a peace deal out of it, in which we also take a few regions and some money. Peace deals are also a very important part of the strategy, because we can immediately declare war again and fight them a second time. This time my mercenary divisions are still coping with the losses they suffered the last battle. But the big plus for us is that almost all the units Coinings is fielding here are fresh recruits. So they have very little training, and their morale is also pretty bad, so they should break much faster. The only thing they have going for them is a massive advantage in numbers, but numbers are not everything. And so, even though we were outnumbered quite a bit, we managed to defeat them quite handily here. And after all their units are broken, we can get to conquering the rest of Coinings. In the meantime, I'm also buying more regions, especially with our allied people of Varangs. So we conquer some in the north, we buy some in the middle, and then we use the money to buy more regions, especially on the eastern front. So after the conquest, we use all the money we made to buy more regions in the middle and especially to the west. So almost an entire realm is bought up by us, which is a strategy we will use more often as time goes on. So the whole western region has just been bought by us, using the money we earned hard fought, because diplomacy in this game is everything. And what you saw there was us buying even more regions, and now we are managing them, which means we kill everyone except the bugs. And then we just place a few basic buildings and we drive up some taxes. Which I call management. And with the money we make, we just unite with other realms while giving them some money. So money is everything, and we just bought even more land to the north. And with the money we gain, we buy more land. I think you can see where this is going. So we are just buying regions for absurd amounts of money. And the trick in this strategy is that the money is not gone. The AI holds the money. And what you can do then is, if you leave one region, like you can see here, to the east, you can declare war on them. You can fight them. And in the peace deal, you can get your money back. So what I'm doing here is I'm fighting the Battle of Solban, which is more accurately the battle for the money we just spent to buy their realm. They weren't too happy about it, that we just gave them money, bought all their lands, and now we declare war on them in order to get the money back. So this is one of the largest battles we fight so far, because they have almost 3 rows of artillery, and those catapults, they hurt. So our strategy is the same. We run in from the back, we rout their catapult crews, and with the catapults gone, my army stands a much better chance at defeating them. We even get cocky and do a few charges here and there of our own. Problem is the catapults are so plentiful that it's hard to maneuver around between them to route all the crews. But it also confuses a few of his divisions, so they don't do too much damage. And with the catapults gone and most of their units routed, it is only a matter of mopping up the last few remnants of his army. To reiterate, we do this to get the money back we spent on buying his land, which was around, I think, 150 million, and we win. So from now on, I'm going to show you the rest of the wall conquest with the most important number to the top left, which is our current money. And after making peace with Solban, with the battle we just made, we have 313 million in the bank. And with that, we purchase a whole realm to the north. I dub it the Great Purchase. And now we are just letting this run at 10 times speed, and you can see how I let the money accumulate, and once we reach a critical mass of money, I just buy the next realm. And I get it, it's a bit anticlimactic, but it's much faster this way. And I don't want to show you 20 hours of region management. I spent around 80% of my time on the world map screen, just clicking around and managing regions, letting money accumulate and then spending money on buying realms. To reiterate, what you're seeing here is around 15 hours of footage pressed down into 5 minutes with a lot of cuts in between. So this is one smooth little video. And you might be thinking, how is it possible to get so much money out of a lot of regions you don't even build up to anything? And the main point of the strategy is to stack buildings that give global tax bonuses, whether it be percentage-wise or a flat-out addition to taxes. There's a few buildings that do that. There is I think the tax collector's office, and there is one building that gives a percentage-based global buff to taxes. There's also a few research that gives you more taxes. And then you just make your region happy, which isn't too hard when you kill everyone and just leave a handful of bugs alive. So you can pump up the taxes. And voila, you have a completely destroyed region, which still gives you, I think it was around 30,000 taxes per year. So multiply that by the number of regions you see on the screen, and you have a working strategy to outright buy the whole world. Next purchase was one of the realms in the mountains. If I outright purchase a whole realm through the Unite option, there is no way to get the money back. So it's almost better to buy everything except for one region and then declaring war on them to get the region back. But yeah, I was too lazy to do that as well. I just let the game run on full speed and accumulate. What you cannot see in this little time lapse I call it little even though it's 20 hours compressed into this video, is that in the meantime I'm fighting raiders every 2 or 3 days. I think there's a little cooldown time in there, but they are relentless. I disbanded my whole army except for the Argonash just to scale down the raiders, because my Argonash are able to handle it. And from time to time we have to fight the old-fashioned way, out of boredom or otherwise. Here I'm fighting a smaller war against the other realm within the mountains just to save some money to buy one of the bigger arms, as you saw just about now. And the tedious part about after such a purchase is I have to click through every single region and dismantle all the buildings, because I get hit with the administration cost, and from about 300 admin points in the positive, I get pumped down to 2,000 to 3,000 in the negative, because the AI cheats like hell when it comes to administration points. But what can you do? So, the realm in the mountains, we are doing the old-fashioned way by fighting them. Now the realm has collapsed and the other regions are rebel regions, so we can take them without any armies fighting us. All the meantime we are accumulating lots of money to buy the last few realms left. Now what's interesting here is, while cleaning up the rebel regions, we also buy the smaller realm in orange to the north, and you can see it almost makes no dent in our money. I think we got it for 30 million, because the cost also scales with our might, and we are pretty mighty at this point. And with this purchase, there's only a few small things to clean up. 2 smaller realms exist. Everything else is owned by us. And once again, the tedious task of clicking through every single region to get my administration costs down. Money is of no consequence at this point, but when I fast forward the game, you can see how the money is shooting up. Once again, there's 10 times speed. So at this point, we are beyond rich. We might not be liked. I mean, we are liked by the people that are still alive, but there's just not many people left alive on this planet. But with the last bit of money we buy the last realm, and the very last one alive is our ally. So I thought to myself, I'll give them a send-off. And we are fighting one last great battle. The final battle of this playthrough. Which is my mercenaries. I even brought my Argonash, just to give them one last send-off for all the services they did for us. And no real finesse here, we are just charging them with my Argonash, my artillery is bombarding them, their artillery is bombarding us. A old-fashioned battle, not won by money but won by steel. They even have some of their own Argonash, which I really didn't think they would have, since we own all the havens, but I think they had them since the beginning of the game. But this wouldn't be my World Conquest playthrough if we failed now. So I think you can imagine what the outcome of this battle was. And sooner but later we rout everyone and the final battle is won. So there's just a few last places to clean up. We split our army in two and we besiege the last two regions on the world map that are not ours. Oh, I think it's even more than 2 regions. It's 4 regions. So we split off a 3rd army. Oh no, that's their army, I'm sorry. But there's no way for those 4 little regions to stop the red blob. And with that, we did it. We conquered the whole world in Songs of Syx. I don't think we were a force for good in this playthrough. I think we were clearly the evil guys, but sometimes the evil guys win and get to dictate history. Who is to oppose us? There is only bugs left on this world. So here you can see one last look at the globe. Some of the regions are unhappy just because I didn't want to click on every single region and do the management thing. It's just too many. You can see we had 130,000 enemies killed, 122,000 casualties. Most of our money came through taxes, with around 8.8 million taxes per day. And this is a look at our city in the end. And not a lot changed since the playthrough. There's one more district. And in the end I put in a super screenshot of my final city. So you can take a look at it. We are getting a lot of tributes as well. And this is a final look at the city that is now the capital of the world. Round about 100,000 bugs populate this planet. That's a bit less than before. I think the original population is around 2 million. But they had to go, and the bugs were victorious. So thank you for watching. I'm sorry this took so long. I'm sorry this video is probably pretty bad. But I did it, so there will be more content on this channel. Some of it won't be Songs of Syx. There will definitely be Songs of Syx in the future. I just can't do it right now. I'm burned out on this. This playthrough took everything and more. So this is a final update. Thank you for watching and see you next time. Goodbye.